I love Christmas. I really do. I love decorating the Christmas tree. I love putting up the Christmas lights. And I even like the music to an extent. The season is also a great time to find someone to hold and keep you warm through the bitter cold nights. Yeah, I have to say that Christmas is easily one of my top favorite pagan holidays. Oh, so it occurred to me that you might not know what I meant when I said Christmas is a pagan holiday. I can explain that easily in what I like to call Chadag's Top 10 List of Pagan Icons Stolen by Christians. First, a term you need to be familiar with: winter solstice. This occurs every year at the time when the short days of the winter come to an end, and many pre-Christian gods were born and celebrated around this time. Alright, number 10, the Yule log. Now, I personally don't know anyone that burns a Yule log, but that doesn't matter. We keep Yule alive in our Christmas Yuletide carols. So what the hell is Yule? Well, Yule is the Scandinavian fertility god. This god would be worshipped by burning a phallic-looking log and giving up sacrifices, sometimes human sacrifices, into the fire. This leads directly into number 9, the 12 Days of Christmas. This ritual of burning the Yule log and sacrificing junk would last for 12 days during the winter solstice. Now, the Roman Church tried to muddy up this tradition by coming up with their own 12-day ritual, placing the first day of the Mass of Christ on December 25th, lasting 12 days and ending on January 6th, known to Catholics as Epiphany. Sneaky, sneaky. Moving on. Number 8. Holly. Decking the halls with holly was originally a pagan tradition of warding off evil spirits. The Wiccans contributed here by tying the holly in circles, or wreaths, and wearing them on their heads as a way to increase the power of the holly. This is pretty similar to number 7, mistletoe. Mistletoe was used with Druidic and Wiccan spells to render a woman open for sexual exploitation. So the next time you place mistletoe in the doorway, just think of it as an ancient date rape drug. Number 6, Christmas lights. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but it would be really damn funny if it is. So, in the Dark Ages, people would supposedly put oil-lighted wick lamps in their windows to symbolize that the patrons of the house were actually participating in the worship of the phallic god Yule. Man, we just can't get enough of this Yule fella in our perverted little holiday, can we? So, if this really is true, the next time you're out looking at lights, this is what should be going on in your head.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's enough of that. On to number 5, gift giving. This deserves some explaining, since it can be argued that the Magi gave gifts, and that's where we get the idea from. Well, I'd like to first point out something. When was the last time you thought of the Magi while at the checkout line at Macy's? If you really wanted to relate material possessions to the teachings of Christ, you'd be better off giving away your possessions like Jesus requests, not making mad dashes to the mall. Okay, getting back. Gift giving is a key component to the whole Christmas celebration. The origin of this is actually in ancient Rome. During the winter solstice, there was a month-long celebration where all courts in Rome were closed and all crimes were allowed to be committed. Cross-dressing and orgies were pretty popular at this time. In 270 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian made the celebration official by setting aside a 7-day period from December 17th to the 24th for this celebration, culminating on December 25th as a day of giving gifts. There's more to this story, and it gets really juicy, but I'll get back to that. Let's move on to number 3, Santa. It pretty much goes like this. Scandinavian origin, Odin, pagan god of thunder. Odin travels the skies during the winter solstice, deciding who would die and who would live. Another element is the Turkish bishop named Nicholas, who supposedly caught the devil and made him his personal servant, or bitch, and got the name Knecht Ruprecht. As Nicholas traveled from house to house, Ruprecht would drop candy and gifts down the chimney. So this Ruprecht is actually Santa Claus, whose physical appearance got meshed with Odin and St. Nicholas. In short, the devil is Santa Claus. Number 2, The Christmas tree. The Christmas tree was super sacred for the pagans at the time of the winter solstice. They worshipped these trees, and the God of Abraham was smart enough to warn Christians against celebrating them. Pay attention, because this part is pretty ironic. In the book of Jeremiah, we can pretty clearly see where God weighs in on the issue. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the ways of the heathen, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers, that it move not. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do good. Except for that last line where God stupidly labels pagans as non-evil, no-good doers, he wants you to know that celebrating the Christmas tree is a vanity issue, celebrated by heathens. Boy, the Christians really fucked up on that one. And finally, the number one pagan icon stolen by Christians is Mithras! If you're a Christian, there's a good chance you've never heard of Mithras. Funny thing is, you've known him your entire religious life. Not as Mithras, but as this dude, Jesus of Nazareth. Mithras was known by his followers as the light of the world and the good shepherd, and told his followers to practice ritual communion meals of bread and wine. Is it any coincidence that the religion of Mithras died out about the same time when Christianity was getting popular? Now let's bring it all home and tie this directly to Christmas. Remember earlier when I was describing the origins of gift-giving in Rome? Well, the whole reason why they were celebrating was because it was the birthday of Mithras. See, Mithras was supposedly born in a cave with shepherds in attendance on December 25th. Not precisely the Jesus story, but pretty damn close. Close enough for me to say, oh snap! You've been carrying on a tradition of celebrating the birth of the pagan god Mithras all these years. Let's recap. The Yule log, pagan. 12 Days of Christmas, pagan. Holly and mistletoe, pagan, Wiccan, and a pinch of druid. Christmas lights, pagan. Gift-giving, pagan. Santa's pagan origins are so blatantly obvious that it's an anagram for Satan, which isn't very Christ-like and be considered as pagan. The Christmas tree, so pagan that God warns us against it. And finally, Mithras/Jesus. Totally pagan. At this point, you should be pretty pissed off at me if you're a Christian. Even if you're not a Christian, you might be thinking, why the hell is this guy trying to ruin celebrating Christmas? The answer is this. I would say that it is intellectually dishonest to believe or practice something without understanding where it comes from. I would like to quote Carl Sagan, famous scientist and astronomer. It is far better to grasp the universe as it really is than to persist in delusion, however satisfying and reassuring. So go ahead and celebrate Christmas. Give gifts to people you love. Admire the lights. But don't fool yourself into thinking you're practicing something inherently Christian. In closing, if you still have the audacity to tell me that I can't celebrate Christmas, you're an idiot. Christians stole the holiday from the pagans, so I have every right to steal it from the Christians, and put my own little spin on it if I feel like it. So, to everyone out there, have a merry Mithras, and may his noodly appendage bless us all.